we're going to be doing on Haggerty Road. And that'll be an intergovernmental agreement. We have Brad Barbazas here today for a personal service agreement to be our new network administrator. We also have Davenport Brothers here for French Landings Parks Phase 2. Very excited to get that park moving along. And we're going to have a discussion for Van Buren Township and Ron for water services for a customer that's kind of stranded out there. We have an agreement between the Charter Township of Van Buren and Wayne County Air Force for some infrastructure that we're going to talk about. And we've got a management consultant for a service agreement with Taylor that we want to get through. That's all. So right now we're going to go to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make that motion. Support.
Okay. All right. Miller, I got Bud. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Now on the consent agenda. Let's see, we have Martin. I'm thinking this through here. It's Miller.
Okay.
Miller, Trustee Miller, could you make the motion for the consent
Make
agenda?
the motion for the consent agenda as follows. 1, special meeting minutes of August 1st, 2022. 2, prepaid list of August 11th, 2022. Voucher list of August 16th, 2022. 4, approval of the appointment of Bernard Grant to the Planning Commission with a term to expire on October 1st, 2022. 5, approval of the appointment of Superintendent Pete Kulak to the LDFA with a term to expire August 12th, 2026. 6, approval of the to the LDFA with a term to expire on August 12th, 2026. Support.
The motion, I've got support. Hearing no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to introduce everybody to Bernard Grant. Bernard Grant, could you come forward and shake everybody's hand, because it's really wonderful what you're doing. It's our newest member of our planning commission. And we're really happy to have him come on forward. Thank you. Yeah, that's how you do it. You'll be working with Sherry. Thank you. I also want to thank Sarah Ortiz for volunteering to be on the LDFA. And Pete Kudlak, who volunteered on his own behalf to join the LDFA team. So that was, no, it's not. All right. First motion is going to be for the public hearing, to receive comments on the establishment of the Greenbrier SAD. Yes, sir.
Make a motion that we open the public hearing to receive comments on the establishment of the Greenbrier.
Okay, I got a motion, I got support, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, who's got this one? Director Lockett and Director Powers.
Well, good evening, board. Thanks for having me here this evening. Along with me, I have the HOA, John Hayman here as well, to represent his HOA. So I'm here before you tonight for this hearing to basically establish a SAD for the Greenbrier subdivision road project.
Can you explain what SAD stands for, please?
Special Assessment District. And this is a project that's well needed. Roads is in pretty terrible shape. This project, as it stands right now, is estimated at $750,000. And it basically will cost each homeowner roughly about $891 over a 5-year period.
$891 per year or 5 years.
with a 1.5% interest.
What's that number again? I'm sorry. What's that amount again?
$891 for every year for 5 years. With a 1.5% interest rate. So with that, I'll accept any comments from the public. And John, do you have anything?
You guys want to make a statement, John, or Mr. Powers, Director Powers? Did you have anything to say?
Only to say that I'm available for questions, but to have the direct the questions to the chair, and then the chair will delegate where we're going from there.
So Greenbrier HOA has asked the township basically help them out getting the roads done. They're going to hire the contractor and then we're going to pay up to $750,000. And we're going to put it on their tax bill and it'll be paid off over 5 years by the homeowners.
That'll be on winter taxes.
Okay. Do you guys, any of you guys want to speak? Or are you just here to?
If I may, I'll explain a little bit more. The association has saved up $200,000 towards this project. It came in, the bid came in at $550 roughly, I'm rounding out the figures. And then we put 20% contingency fund on top of that. That's how we came up with the $750,000. Those are rounded figures. But actually, with a down payment of $200,000, it's only $550 to the homeowners. So the $891 is the highest it will probably go. Because that's the limit of the money we're gonna get from Van Buren Township as a loan. So more than likely, it'll be lower, but we do have a contingency fund in case we run into things that we haven't seen, and you never know with construction, there's always work order changes, et cetera, et cetera. So the total amount that we're asking for is whatever needs to be done, we can do it, and not have to come back for any more money or stop the project in the middle because we're running out of funds. So I just want the homeowners to understand, $891 per year for 5 years is the highest it'll go.
I would recommend you send them a letter because we will be sending them a letter next week that lays out what you told us, which is $750,000. And what we've agreed to is to lend you the money based on 5 years, plan to your taxes at 1.5% interest.
That is correct.
And today's vote actually allows us to move forward, but not to the point where you can build yet. We've got another public hearing to go.
Yes, in September, I believe the 6th.
Through the chair, that is something to consider. We have in a resolution tonight that the hearing date being the 20th of September for the next hearing, which builds in some additional time for public noticing in the newspapers. There have to be 2 public notices in the newspaper.
So you think, so they're not coming back till September 20th?
It would be difficult to get all the noticing done by then. I think we technically could if we hit the ground running right away. You have to get a notice in the Independent next Thursday and then the following Thursday, which we could technically do as we move.
I say get it done. Get going.
Chair, it's the direction of the board. We'll just know for the
No, you're-
record.
I never heard of somebody recusing themselves from a public hearing, but I really can't be making those decisions. I'm a Greenbrier resident. What do you,
Through the chair,
yeah,
what would be the alternative date then? What,
6th of September.
that's September 20th,
That's the date on the resolution. As it stands right now.
the next public hearing,
It's actually
the 6th of September. You
Right.
need to get the notices out Thursday and then the following Thursday in order to do that. And then what, if it couldn't get done the 6th, then when?
The 20th. It's actually set for the.
So everything will just be pushed back, or the public hearing and the resolution could be done on the same day?
That's right. And the resolution we have says the 20th, so if the board wants us to push this forward on the 6th, we'll just change that for the record in the resolution approved tonight, and we'll go ahead with noticing quickly to get it on next.
Through the chair, would that give you enough time to get notices out to the residents?
Yes, there's 10 days required for the lead time for the first newspaper notice, so we could still.
You're comfortable with that?
If it's doable, it's doable.
Yeah. You never know what the weather will be like or whatever else plays into it.
This is Michigan, let's not
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah, to the board, please. We are hoping to have it finalized at the first September meeting. I understand we're gonna have a public hearing that meeting again, and then have a final approval in the regular agenda. if need be. And that only gives us the approval to tell the contractor, go schedule some days.
I
So
understand.
we don't want to go into the winter if they're busy and tied up. So we want to give them as soon as possible notice to get started. Because we have cement work, some of the sewer collapses in the project, and curbs, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Okay, Dan, Director of Power. He's basically saying that on September 6th, when it comes back, that a vote of the board on that day after the public hearing basically is the green light for us. That doesn't give you much time to notify all the people. Okay.
We have the basis for the notification already done for the first notice. So it's usually.
Okay, no, we don't, you will have to vote in a few minutes, of which case I have to recuse myself and leave the room. We are now at correspondence, announcements, and presentations.
They got a,
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
I make a motion to close. Support.
Okay, I've got a motion, I've got support to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. We did. We have some, they're they're actually board members, I think, all of them. Done. Okay. All right. I asked them. They did. All right, we're all set. We're moving on. Correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I only have one correspondence that I received from Mrs. Owens. She writes on behalf of Belle Point Estates community. She writes, "Good evening. I want to take this time to thank Sergeant Alex Schultz for his outstanding community service. Sergeant Schultz has always gone out of his way to ensure Belle Point Estates are kept up to date and on the latest crime trends plaguing our community." It's a very long letter, so I just picked out a few quotes. Sergeant Schultz exemplifies his dedication when he talks with residents one-on-one, leaving each household with a feeling the Van Buren Township Department is always a phone call away. Maybe something that his dedication to our neighborhood goes above and beyond. They also want to know when we're going to honor Sergeant Schultz with Officer of the Year, quarter, month, or week. So, Mrs. Owens, thank you very much. We're really proud of Sergeant Schultz also. Cute name too. All right, moving on. Does anybody else have any correspondence, announcements, or communications? All right. Public comment. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on anything that is on the agenda today? Hearing no, we move on to unfinished business. We have one unfinished business, which is Van Buren Township to approve an intergovernmental agreement for a water main. Can I get a motion?
I move that we ASCP.
Okay. I need a support.
Support.
Thank you. All right. Director Lawrence, I believe.
Both of you guys.
Yeah,
I know Paul worked on the IGA and Kevin's due, so this was a months long.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Chair, one of the most important points of this IGA is the potential cost sharing on the road reconstruction part of the project. There's also a water main aspect that we approved preliminarily through budgeting. So I guess I'll just give a rundown of what this agreement is for. It's something that's required by Wayne County in order to align their funding and their approval through their commission. So to approve the funding for the 2-lane to 3-lane reconstruction of Haggerty Road from Ecorse Road to Van Born Road. And additionally, the township is supporting this project through the construction of the water main. So there's two different aspects. The water main is a capital project that we will contribute toward this effort because it aligns with much needed road reconstruction. Additionally, with respect just to the road reconstruction, in April 5th, the board had approved the at least the preliminary funding of up to 8% over the estimated cost of construction of the road, just the road, from Ecorse Road to Van Born Road. And that is a dollar amount somewhere around $458,000. And so in order for the county to line up its final approvals, it needed the township to approve a intergovernmental agreement that basically lays out the need for the road reconstruction and the need for the water main replacement, and commits the township to its share in the event that the project goes over the estimated construction cost. That the township will kick in that 8% amount. That's the same amount that was on the board agenda in April. So it's really the same thing. It's just that now we have the actual IGA in front of us, and the board is being asked to approve that. So to go along with that IGA approval, you have a resolution that kind of summarizes this process. It refers to the fact that the township will be replacing the 12-inch water main with 16-inch water main. And then it speaks to the cost not to exceed that the township will contribute for the road reconstruction, which again was reviewed in April. So that's basically what this is for. It's a necessary step toward the county's approval of the project. And then just to speak to the project timeline briefly, the project for the road reconstruction is now estimated to start in spring of 23, because that will allow for competitive bidding over the winter months, and they're still developing their funding side of it.
Okay. And Trustee Martin, you mentioned that the timing of this may be difficult. You may be right. We did look into that. And ductile iron pipe is very difficult to get. So I heard you. I don't know what's going to be in the project, but
Through the chair.
yes.
Also, Director Power, will you explain again to the residents why we're replacing this water main?
Yes, absolutely. There are over 3 million square feet of either buildings under construction or planned for construction west of Haggerty Road between Ecorse and Van Born Road. So that's a lot of potential logistics, distribution, and manufacturing growth for the township in that area. And additionally, there are some businesses that exist up near Van Born Road that have some water flow issues. And so there was a study performed by our township engineer a couple of years ago, Fishback, that said that it was advisable to replace the existing 12-inch water main to 16-inch to serve the future growth and continued presence of those businesses in that area. So this was a good opportunity. It was, I believe, a capital project that was planned. It's just that it got moved up the priority list when the road reconstruction was getting prepared and done by the county. So we want to make sure the two projects could occur together so that there's some synergy between them. So the life expectancy of the 12-inch main is only 13 more years also.
And the new main of the last one, how long? 30, 40, 50, 50 years. Great. And how much volume will that add to the water volume that bigger line provide?
That I would have to, maybe look back at the study and refer back to that. So it's maybe, it's around between 2,000, 3,000, now it'd go up to 3,000 gallons.
But that also will help in water distribution for potable water and also firefighting capabilities. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, there's some costs that are still being determined, as you said, with ductile iron, some lead time with that. So our estimate on the water main is preliminary. This agreement says that we will cover the water main costs. Contributing to
It is in the plan. It's just being moved up. Our rate person even says you guys got to start replacing some pipe, as you know, 0% increase again. And this, schedule. Plus that corridor is growing fast. All right, I have a motion by trustee Frazier, supported by trustee Miller. Does there anybody else have questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much. New business, can somebody make a motion to recuse me?
I make a motion to recuse you. Or
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Roll call. Clerk Wright, call roll.
Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
Trustee Miller? Trustee Martin? Trustee Boyd? Treasurer Bud? Yes, for me. Motion is excused.
Thank you.
we'll find you.
You don't know.
I make the motion to consider approval of resolution 2022-15 to establish Greenbrier subdivision SAD and to schedule public hearing on the assessment for road for the Greenbrier subdivision SAD.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by myself, support by trustee Miller. You want me to?
Go ahead.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
any comment? No comment, all in favor? Motion passes. Now I pass.
Now call Kevin.
You call Kevin back. So okay, that's what you okay, have a presentation.
I don't think you better go back.
I did say we're gonna discuss Kevin back. They just had a presentation, so. You had something else you want to say?
Yeah.
But I actually was in a discussion.
All right, good evening again, board.
You again?
Yes. Good, perfect. Okay, I'm here again before you to consider approval of resolution 2215 for the establishment of Greenbrier subdivision special assessment district.
One.
Can't vote.
Okay.
Oh, he can't vote. Do you have anything new other than what we did?
We'll go over the streets and the particulars and all that good stuff.
Go ahead.
Okay. The Greenbrier subdivision special assessment district includes roadway improvements to Greenbrier Drive, Wood Wall Court, Woodside Court, Greenwood Court, Greenwood Drive, Thornwood Drive, Bear Cliff Drive, Brinewood Court, Levelwood Court, and Greenbrier Court. The purpose of this special assessment district is to raise the funds for 100% of road construction cost of to $706,000 per Public Act 188 of 1950.
2024. With that said, the next board meeting, I'll be in front of you with the roll, which will identify the cost to each resident of the Greenbrier subdivision. It'll break it down, and all letters will be going out with that cost associated. And everyone will know what the cost will be for a 5-year period, so approved. That will carry me for now. Any questions?
Okay, well, no questions. Any questions from the audience? Nothing from the audience, we can vote again. We have a motion by myself, support by trustee Miller. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Supervisor, Julie.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah. All right, line item number 2, discussion on to consider approval of Brad Barbosa's personal service agreement to work, become our network system administrator. Can I get a motion? All right, go ahead. Dr. Sumter.
Good evening, board and audience. Tonight I would like to present to you Brad Barber's personal service agreement. Brad, you can come up. Brad actually comes to us from Dearborn. He has a bachelor's in this, he has a bachelor's in broadcast and cable production. Hold on, guys, I got my contact on. He has made his career, although in information technology, with the City of Dearborn Police Department. Both the retired and the current chief highly recommend him. I would like to say that he was in a, how can I put this? Me and Director Rankin, we interviewed a lot of people. We interviewed temporary people from three different temporary companies. We went through over 40 resumes through Indeed. And out of all of those people, Mr. Bartley became our top. So with that, I would ask that you approve his personal service agreement, which is for a different amount than we originally posted, which was 73. We are now approving it at 78,000. And I ask at this time, do you have any questions for me?
Can you fix laptop computers too?
When do you start?
So that I ask the board to approve Supervisor McNamara and Clerk Wright to execute the agreement for Brad Barber for our new network system administrator.
All right. I have a motion. I have support. Do I have any other questions? All in favor?
I mean.
Terry, no further questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Brad, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
We'd like you to come and do the round here, so we can shake your hand on this being, start out right. I'll take it. Welcome aboard. Looking forward. When do you start?
Tomorrow,
Brad, when do you start?
Wednesday, tomorrow.
I'm all for that.
Sooner the better.
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. All right, line item number 3. Discussion on to consider approval of the selection of Davenport Brothers Construction for the French Landing Phase Park Phase 2 for a total of $490,000. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Treasurer Bud.
We approve the selection of Davenport Brothers Construction for the French Landing Park Phase 2 for a total of $490,544.
Support. Good evening, Board of Trustees. As you're aware, French Landing Park Phase 1 was completed in 2021. We created a walking path to the park, landscapes and areas. We installed a tensile shade structure, irrigation, and site furniture throughout. So over the past winter and spring, our team has been working in the background to finalize the design for Phase 2, the final phase of the improvements project. The plans are based off of the original conceptual master plan. So there are two main sections of Phase 2. One of them is the fishing dock, and the other one is the rest of the improvements, which we're here tonight to talk about. So these improvements include a paved parking area, a retaining wall, which will give us the ability to install a kayak launch there, a new gate, roadside planting, a beautiful roadside trail. So the dock is a separate piece of Phase 2 that we'll be bringing to the board probably later in September. So the project was put out to bid, and bids were publicly opened on Tuesday, July 19th. One bid was received from Davenport Brothers Construction for the base bid amount of $474,884. The project team would like to accept alternate 3, which would allow us to install a composite rail fence similar to a Trex material in lieu of a cedar rail fence. This would increase the bid by $15,660, which would make the recommended project bid $490,544. So we're recommending tonight to the Township Board of Trustees to approve the selection of Davenport Brothers Construction, French Landing Park Phase 2, for again, a total of $490,544. This was a budgeted expense in 2022. Even with the projected dock improvement expense, we're under budget for the project. So if approved, the project would start immediately. Davenport's ready to mobilize tomorrow and start construction on Monday. We have Mark Russell from Russell Design here, as well as Joe Davenport from Davenport Brothers Construction.
Okay, so when we're done with this, in theory, the only thing left to do is the dock. The dock was supposed to get done this year. Can you talk about the dock for a second, just because it sounds like we may be coming back in a minute, but go on.
Yeah, so they'll probably end up, if approved, getting done in tandem. But we've been meeting, we had a site meeting out with DNR and Eagle and our township engineer along with Mark Russell from Russell Design. Originally in the conceptual master plan, we had sort of a horseshoe big dock included in that. After meeting with them, it doesn't seem like that's feasible to get permitted from those agencies. So we're working on an alternate plan to still make an improvement on that dock, but working within the balance that they're allowing us to, which essentially means that the posts that are in the water have to stay in the water, but we can rebuild around the posts. And they are structurally okay, so that will be fine. So we're working together with the contractor right now to come up with a change order to this and make sure we're covering everything we need for that, and we'll bring that back.
So what I'm kind of giving you a warning of is we may be asking for a change to add that dock in for far less than we were going to pay for the statement piece that we were making, because it's just going to be basically redoing the one we got. When the dock goes out into the water, the DNR considered that dock as a taking of the water space. So even though this dock would only go out 20 feet, they feel like they were taking water space away from the public by doing that. And it would take us years to get from that. Does anybody have any questions?
Through the chair,
Yes, Mr. Murphy.
I thought it was my understanding that the dock was part of this Phase 2, the price of the dock. Is that, or is this something different you're talking about?
No, you're absolutely correct. The dock was part of the Phase 2, but we had to bid it out without the dock because we could never get the DNR to give us our DEQ, Eagle, whoever they're called, to give us a permit to build the dock that we had planned in Phase 2.
This price is without the dock.
Correct.
And with the projected dock expense of the improvements we're hoping to make, it's still under what we budgeted for the whole project. So we're tracking Are there any grants, I'm sorry, through the chair, that we received for French Landing?
We received the Wayne County Village Grant, so we've been using that for, our IGA that went from 2015 to 2019 on that, and we also have 2 more IGAs in a total of approximately $90,000.
Plus we did 130 in the last one. so-
Right.
Public should know that. Because all they'll see is 490, shocker, half a mil. But what they don't hear is what grants we've received.
Through the chair.
Trustee Murphy.
I'd like to say that I've driven through French Landing Park and they have done an amazing job on it so far. It really looks a lot different than it did before. It looks nice. It'll be a nice jewel in our township. when They're finished.
Thank you, and Davenport did complete phase 1, so, continuing that.
And what's the completion date if everything goes well? There's no shortages of lumber and this and that.
Yeah, so we met with the project team earlier this morning. We're hoping to be finalizing phase 2 by the end of late fall. So by the time the weather turns, we should be finalizing the project, possibly punch list in the spring. The dock portion of the project will probably go into winter, but we can do that work.
And the dock will be used for fishing or boating.
Not boating, the kayak launch will be the water access part of the project, but people can use it for multiple recreation types of activities, but fishing is really popular there.
It is a beautiful park. I went there the other day. And what I really like is that we were trying to make it a good front door. And one of the problems was DNR, the DTE poles. And if you look, they got those shrubbery around there and they're starting to grow and fan out and you don't see them so much. So it looks, my wife was impressed. And yeah, it's a good job. Yeah.
I'm happy that we're using, Davenport, a local company.
Which part was local?
They always do quality work.
Okay, I have a motion, Treasurer Bud, and supported by Trustee Miller. Do I hear any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, get that part done. Number 4, discussion on to consider approval of a resolution of an agreement between Van Buren and the city of Romulus regarding some water services for an abandoned citizen. Trustee Frazier, do you want to make that motion?
I make a motion, we approve the agreement and
Okay.
Support.
Miller. Okay. Director Lawrence.
Good evening. Consider the approval of resolution 202214, agreement between Charter Township and the city of Romulus for water service on one 3164 Hannah Road. The connection between Romulus and the water facility is to install the water service to accomplish by the contractors to acceptable to the city of Romulus, which contractors will be responsible for the cost and the right-of-way permits as applicable.
So I believe that what this is the same thing we had before, where we had a house that's basically sitting out there alone. They can't get water to it. Water is right across the street in Romulus, or they're gonna have to pipe it in for about a half mile away for us.
That's correct.
Okay, so they're asking our permission to bring water from Romulus, which is across the street. Okay. All right.
At the homeowner's expense to the chair.
So I'm sorry,
At the
Trustee.
homeowner's expense.
Yes.
well, they gotta have water.
Yeah. But if you're in Van Buren, you're supposed to use Van Buren water, but that's okay. This is why we have these agreements. Does anybody else have any questions? All right, so I have a motion and I have support. Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director. Next item is to consider a resolution for an agreement between Van Buren and the Wayne County Airport East Side Infrastructure Project.
Through the chair,
Trustee Martin,
I make the motion that we, honor the, or agree to. I make a motion to consider approval of an agreement between Charter Township of Van Buren and Wayne County Airport East Side Infrastructure Project to construct potable water and sanitary sewer to support their facility.
support. Okay. Director Lawrence.
This will be the east side project for potable water for sanitary and sewer. So basically, they're gonna incur all the costs, service these sewer lines and everything. And when they complete this, they will turn it over to us.
Does anybody have any questions, or do you want me to give a management synopsis? Of course.
Please.
Trustee Martin?
No, I remember we discussed this before, this come up, earlier, we talked about it in the work study, and I remember that they're gonna incur all the costs, and so I think it's a good deal.
Trustee Miller?
I would just ask for a brief explanation. as to
Actually,
why-
it was a good explanation. They're trying to do a lot of infrastructure upgrades
Yes,
over there. They're trying to build it out so that they can move everything that's on the east side of Willow Run is gonna move over to the west side. They have a lot of people that want to build hangars suddenly. They got some people that want to maybe expand. They're talking about putting an administration building over there. But they don't have really water. They don't have enough water, especially in Coletta and stuff like that. So they've got a grant, and God knows the airport is the best people in the world to get grants because they get 95% matching grants. So if you put up $1 million, you can get, what's $1 million times 95%? That's 20 million. So they're willing to build out infrastructure, but they don't want to own this infrastructure, and they're gonna pay us to get rid of the sewage, right? They're gonna pay us to get water, right?
Yes.
So they'll build it, they'll give it to us, and we'll maintain it.
explanation. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Oh, no. All right, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item is to consider approval of a management consultant professional service agreement with Jim Taylor. And authorize me to sign the agreement.
I make a motion, we approve the management consultant, a service agreement with Jim Taylor.
Support. Pointing on support. Okay. Director Lawrence. You know what? I'm the one who does this one. It's unhuman. So, we've had a contract with Jim Taylor for quite some time. He works 5-10 hours a month. He just makes sure that everything's done right in the water sewer area. Because we've had so many new guys or had no guys, or we had our superintendent, Chris Sudo, who's marvelous working in there. Then we had a guy from Ohio that worked there. Then when he got up to speed, he decided to go to Toledo, back to Toledo. Then we had Chris working there again. Now we have another new guy, and for 10-20 hours a week, he comes in and makes sure that everything's done right, and make sure that all our notifications are given, make sure that we post everything we're supposed to post in the newspapers. And it's a warm, comfy feeling for me, and I think the residents of Van Buren, knowing we got a guy with 40 years experience in water, making the transitions that we've had to make 3 times now in the directorship, and making sure that they run smoothly and our water safety is maintained. So we're asking to continue this contract.
I see that his hourly rate will be $100 an hour. What were we paying in the first contract?
$100. The same.
I know we were close to being able to fly on our own, and then we've had a change of personnel. So what is the date that you all foresee as when we can
due to the fact that I've had to do this twice, I didn't put a closing date on this. That guy over there is gonna tell me when I no longer need Jim. Sorry, Jim. I mean, Kevin, first November 1st.
Thank you.
And to the chair, I will just tell you that I have talked to Jim. He is so pleased with what Kevin is doing, and he knows he's right on track to be just what we need. So we're glad to give you the support you need so that you can make sure you stay right on track, and we're happy with you.
Yes, sir.
I did have some concerns when I saw this item again because of the cost factor. But then, Jim, he made it known that you were close to being where you need to be. So, we do want to make sure that you have the proper training that you need to get there. So I'm okay for him to keep it. You just reassured me that you said November 1st. So that sounds like a pretty good date for me. So I'm okay with it now. But, it's a big ticket out. It's a big ticket item, so, big gig if you can get it, but, okay.
We want to give Director Lawrence all the tools he needs to succeed, and this is just one tool.
You know that Mr. Taylor does a great job.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing no further questions, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving forward, we have no reports. Public comment for non-agenda items. We're asking the public, anybody that would like to comment. Try it.
So on Zoom.
Well, good evening, board. Thank you for this opportunity here. I have the good, the bad, and ugly for you. We'll try to start with the good. I'm impressed with the looks of the museum. It's looking real nice down in Belleville there. It's finally coming together. I'd sure like to see the punch list on the total cost of all that. But it's really looking good, and I'm sure it should look good for as much as it's cost. Things have not been much better at the airport. I'm requesting that the township do an air quality testing down there by Beck and E-Course. They make very little effort to control that dust. I've suggested calcium chloride. I know they got calcium chloride there. It's an airport. They could put a wood chip road. They got a road that's about a mile, and they drive these 8 or 10 yard dump trucks back and forth through there all day up on that hill. And it's just dust, dust, dust. We can't even open the windows in our house on a nice day. That's terrible. I think we need an air quality testing there. Because down by Denton, and of course, you gotta roll your windows up if you're driving through there. You can't, I mean, the dust, it almost looks like someone's doing donuts in there. And fortunately, we've had some great days, hot days, and they've all been windy. And, you know, I understand it's a problem.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I've driven by that. In my travels, I've had an occasion to drive by there a few times. Now, not contesting what you're saying, but the hill of spoils or
That's not wrong. That's a firm.
no, hold on, let me ask my question.
I'm up here, you know, so.
What I'm saying is that the huge mound of pavement that was busted up and put over there is pretty much gone now, correct?
It's ground pavement, they're grinding. When last time I talked to you, you didn't even know anything was going on there. So
No, I'm not trying to contest with
Right.
you. What I am doing is saying that the huge mound of dust is pretty much gone now, correct?
Wrong.
It's still there?
It's still there, buddy. You didn't even know they were doing it. They've been
No.
doing construction there for 3 years and you didn't even know it.
No, I knew that it was down there. What I'm saying is that in support of what you're saying, the huge amount of busted up concrete is gone.
That's your opinion, not mine.
Actually, we're usually not supposed to speak back
Right.
and forth during this time. You know,
I just wanted, I just had a question to ask.
Yeah, okay.
What I've seen is gone.
Right. Well, last time I know,
I wrote that down.
doing construction, so.
Okay, Ms. Ryan, okay, so I will get with you. I've got your number. I'll find out about the air quality testing, the dust, the wood chips. I will get an update because quite frankly, I'd like an update on when they're gonna be done.
I would challenge anyone you to try to call over there and talk to somebody. You can't get a person on a damn phone.
I got all their cell phones now.
Well, I'm sure you do now.
Hey, I didn't the first time you asked, but I do now.
Right.
So when we do, can we do air quality tests? And if we do one, could we do it in more than one area?
No, we can't do an air quality test because we don't have any
We-
capability.
Can we request an air quality test?
I mean, actually, we could, but what he really wants to know is what are we gonna do about the dust?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's been going on for almost 3 years now, and I'm the only one that complains that because, you know, people run into.
Last time I asked you, you said they were doing better.
For a couple of days, but the last 3 times I drove down with the dust and dang water trucks just sitting on the side there, not even using it. And why they don't use calcium chloride is beyond me. And I don't even have a degree in that kind of stuff, but calcium chloride would keep that dust down for a number of days. And it's not rocket scientist stuff.
Okay, I will ask them about that. Your time would have been up, and I'll let you go if you got anything else you want to ask.
I'm done saying everything.
Calcium chloride. That's
And
actually a good idea.
On election day, I picked up a dead fawn over here on Beck Road. It was right on the white line of the road. And no, I know, I'll bet 30 people from the township or drive by it. That thing weighed about 50 pounds. And when I got done voting, going home, its sister was standing across the road looking at it. So I had to turn around and pick that thing up because it's nobody's job. It's not the township's job, it's not the county's job, it's nobody's job to leave them dead animals laying in the road. This was a little fawn, still had spots on it.
Oh, I know it. I know
Its
those
twin sister.
They
was
hung out
standing
there all
across
the time
road,
playing.
And I'm sure the mom wasn't far away, so maybe we should put some deer crossing signs up. I know I always have to, but that's what we need, there's a lot of deer. I go 30 miles an hour down there and I have people do this, you know. Ask me to see deer, well, I don't do 45 to there. Certain times of day you can't, because there's so many deer there, it's unbelievable. But it is very important when a dead fawn is on the road to pick it up, because that mother, or if there's a sibling, is not very far from that fawn, I guarantee you. They're not the greatest moms, but I know the mom was there because the sister was there just off the side of the road, so I turned around, picked it up here, and nobody would touch it. You'd think it had COVID or something. And so I had to get rid of it myself. I don't know why no one picks them up. I'm also really upset there was no flag in my precinct again. We failed again to have a flag in my precinct too, right down here. Right down here. And that's like the 4th or 5th time in 5 years.
I knew you were gonna say that.
No, wait, I'm not done. And then he puts a little bitty flag like that one up there, like that's supposed to satisfy me. And next it'll be no flag, because there was no flag. And then that's the flag, we got a little bitty flag, and you see a kid waving at a parade. Well, what kind of clerk would not put a flag in a precinct 4 or 5 times? A lousy clerk. That's it. You and your team failed big time. Right here in the township, no flag. The only reason there was one in here is because there's one in the board meeting. Time for you, clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
I will respond because I responded to you on election day. For your lousy clerk. This clerk has got awards for being a great clerk.
They hand them out.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. For election day, we do not own our buildings that we put, we have elections in. We do our best to put a flag. We do put a flag in every packet for the chair to put up. And it's a flag about that tall. I cannot put a flag in everybody in every precinct.
was right down the hall, John.
Let me finish. We put flags in the packet for them to put up. We still use volunteers to do the work. Now, if you want to come in and volunteer and make sure we got a flag every election, then I'll be happy to have that.
I'm gonna
But
take
we
you up
put,
on that.
I'll be happy to have you, but we put flags in every package for them to put up. And when I saw your post, I went down and asked why wasn't the flag up? Because it was in the package. And I sent you a picture showing you that the flag was up because I went and responded to it. Now, like I said, these are not permanent employees. These are part-time, temporary employees that work on election day. You can't expect them to be perfect every time.
I kid when it comes to a flag.
But we did respond to your comment, and we do have flags to go in every precinct because that's part of the law. So I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm gonna respond again, to being a lousy clerk. I've been accredited for not being a lousy clerk. And I've been also responding to from citizens of the township that say me and my department does a great job with elections. And I take a test to you calling me lousy because that's very disrespectful. Okay,
Please, yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on now. Does anybody else wish to make public comment? Mike?
I'm here not for the SAD district, I'm here for, the theme seems to be water tonight. We have a water meter for Greenbrier Homeowners Association. And the only reason that we have that water meter is to irrigate our main island out front. And I recently saw a bill, and it was not a guess at the bill, it was a guess that we're paying sewage on water that we're just dumping down the storm sewer. And I've gone through this before. I know the answer when we come here to the township. The water department is, well, Van Buren Township has to pay Great Lakes Water Authority sewage on all the water that we buy. And I understand that. However, when there is an entity that only has one meter, and that meter's sole purpose is to irrigate, and they're not dumping any water down the sewer at all, and they can clearly show that that water is not going down the sewer, it is unethical, it is improper to be charged for sewage on that water. So I would like the board to consider if an entity has a meter and they're not using, it's clear that they're not using that water for anything but irrigation, to waive the sewage fees on that water.
We will look into it, but I am not promising a thing. I'm gonna tell you, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there. I half the people out there have got swimming pools are angry as hell that they've got to pay for it because they drain their swimming pools right out into the street or back into the rivers or whatever. They argue that why do I have to pay for sewage?
I'm not asking that you separate a person's water meter from irrigation to sewer and put in a second meter.
Yeah.
I'm asking you that if entities have only one meter, and that meter is the sole purpose to irrigate, it's pretty clear where the water is going.
I will look into it, but I believe that I don't believe that I
Other
don't.
townships do it.
I would be shocked.
Other townships have gone to Great Lakes Water Authority and showed them clearly that not all of their water has gone down the street. It can be done.
I will ask. I will ask. I wouldn't hold a lot of hope, but I know you live right down the street from me, so I'll have to get an answer.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak? No? Okay, anybody from the board wishing to make comment?
I just want to know if you have any Zoom comments. Paul?
We do not have any Zoom chat comments or any raised hands. Thank you for asking though.
Anybody else? Hearing none, I'll call for adjournment. Miller, support by Martin.